What it is, y'all, it's your old boy Pilgrim. I'm coming back today with another Danmachi video. Now, we haven't talked much about Six Rings, and we really need to do this. Now, per usual with an event like this, one of my favorite things to do is to build a team that I think most people can kind of relate to. The downside is a lot of the units that I really want to use are max limit broken. But, as per usual, I put some lower level units on here. +3 is kind of the best I got. Well, I do have a +2, but it's a sack unit. So I think +3 is probably like the lowest rung you can really do and maybe win this. But we'll get into that. We'll get into the mechanics of how it works. Now, first things first, let's introduce all the characters here. So first things first, we have Elise. This is the one from the actual anime. She is not time limited. You can get her through tickets. You can get her through exchanges, all kinds of stuff. So main thing with a lot of these units is we want to pay attention to their first skill and their SA. Her SA is attack damage 90% per each self, strength buff skill, so she needs to get a good strength buff skill, and she needs a strength buff skill on her assist side too, so that's very, very important. Self strength buff skill and ultra unguard rate, self damage received and attack single target plus 30%, and 4 additional actions, fire, physical attack, and strength 120%. That's the big one right there. The strength 120% is going to be huge. Fire damage 90%, you're going to see that's redundant, but the HP regen 30%, or I'm sorry, HP heal 30% for all allies is going to be big as well. Skill 1 for her includes an AoE, damage received AoE down 30% for all allies. We're going to keep that in play to make sure that everyone's pretty good with that. Physical resist to magic resist 30%. That'll be really important too. Come later game, not necessarily the beginning, you'll see. And sell 3 additional actions there. Doesn't she do a debuff too? No, she does not do a debuff. But she does have a status buff and a 30% heal here on skill 2. So, very good unit all the way around. Now, I know you're looking at Haruhime and you're like, why are you so obsessed with buffs, or with buff replication and with heals if you've got Haruhime? Well, number one, Haruhime is using the revolving amulet, which means she's going to come in skill 1, and then she's going to leave. So, skill 1 with her is a fast, increase SA gauge charge gain by 111%. Not really relevant, but it's a thing. All allies get SA gauge charge gain 33%, and endurance, agility, dex, and physical resist, magic resist plus 40%. Once again, putting up a big barrier between everybody, and, which, note that word barrier, and 40% HP regen for 3 turns, and 40% HP heal. So everyone's going to get a nice HP regen buff. Okay? Then we've got this Elise, the Hero Festa Elise. Very solid unit. Our only magic unit. So we are mixing magic and physical. We're mostly focusing on physical here, but you'll kind of see there's exceptions to the rule. Her SA is just a huge SA here. 60% per self magic and SA gauge charge gain buff. So we need to make sure she gets that SA gauge charge gain buff and keeps it. Ultra critical rate, allies fire damage 100%, and increase SA gauge charge gain by 44%. So essentially, the unit that is coming in last isn't going to have that SA gauge charge gain. She's going to make sure they have it. So very good, very strong unit. Then we've got this bell here. Now this bell, the main reason I chose this bell is because a lot of people probably have this bell maxed out. I think this was even a gift bell. I think this was actually given to us for the most part. So a lot of people are going to have him maxed out broken. He's very good, very strong unit. Ultra Fire physical attack with Ultra Guard rate 100% per each self-strength buff skill and remove status buffs. The opponent will buff themselves, but it's not, I don't think, going to be detrimental. The main thing is that 100% damage there. And if we go down here, physical resist down 40%. So he's going to be the main thing, dropping physical resistance. But we don't have magic resistance on the team, and that's where Belle and Hestia come into play. Belle and Hestia are going to come in turn 2. They're going to do their skill 2, which is going to do strength magic and magic resistance down 40%, and we're going to keep that in play as long as we can. The real downside here, and this is truly the downside to this event, a lot of these debuffs get removed. So it is arguably a moot point, but it's really just for early damage. I would love to keep them on the team. I'd love to be able to continue debuffing with them. I wish I had more debuffs on the adventurer side. So it is, for me, a bit of a loss not keeping them on the team. But the other units on the team are really going to hold their own. Finally, we've got Bet. And Bet is going to be the last unit income. The reason for that is, number one, his SA is the reason we have him in the first place. Fire physical attack damage, 50% per each critical rate and counter rate buff skill, so we need to make sure when we go over our assists that we have critical rate and counter rate there. Ultra penetration rate, allies critical rate and counter rate, plus fire attack damage, 100% for all allies. So that's going to be really, really, really big. Basically, after this SA, everybody's going to be hitting like a truck, and they're going to have 120% strength. The magic unit gives herself 100% magic, so there's no point in buffing that any further, but he's going to make sure everyone has a fire damage 100%. So, not the biggest fire damage buff, I think there's a 120 out there, but definitely a very solid unit, and for his damage output, he's irreplaceable. Now, assist-wise, Eyes. Eyes is really just here to provide a little bit of a buff to Elise, and honestly, it's not, I won't say it's a relevant buff, but she does do SAH charging, so that's going to give us a lot more SAH charge. Now, Ali's the one that I'm on the fence about here, and I'll kind of explain why. So she does 33% SAH charge. Okay, so actually she does critical and counter rate, which is actually what we need, so that's perfect. So actually, no, she's going to stay, and she does a MP regen. Very good unit. She stays. Finn is wind resist, but mostly fire resistance, down 25%. A fantastic unit. If you don't have a maximum broken, he's only 17%. So if you can give him bonds, do it. I would highly recommend it. Apollo. Now, Apollo is going to do a physical resistance debuff. Physical resistance down 25%. We have one magic unit on the team. I would love to say I had room in the team to give a magic resistance debuff, but unfortunately, with the build that we've got going on here, I would have to sacrifice Haruhime, and that means I'd have to find a place for another magic unit out here, and I just really don't have it built in. I think Elise is still going to do fine. If she were maximum broken, or if there were a second magic unit, I'd probably be able to argue it, but it just is what it is. Finally, we do have Felice. Now, Felice is an anniversary unit from a prior anniversary, last year's anniversary, in fact. So, if you don't have her, that's fine. But the main thing is she does a single target debuff, and that's really what you want to do. That's the most important thing she does, is a single target debuff. So really, and if you notice, she does every other major stat anyway. So that means that Bet is going to get all of his buffs he needs, both on the adventure and the assist side, which is going to make him hit really hard. His assist is Ryu, and Ryu is very simple. Physical resistance down 25%. Actually, you know what? I thought she was physical attack up 25%, but she has fire damage plus 25%. That means that we actually need physical attack, not physical resistance. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. We're going to go by physical attack and try to remember. Yeah, so she does physical attack 25%. So we'll do that. That does mean Bet isn't going to get a physical attack buff, but he is going to get, she's going to do physical resistance and fire attack. I think he's still going to be okay. But the nice part is, for his SA, he doesn't necessarily need the physical attack buff, so it'll be all right. He needs critical rate and counter rate, so I think that's going to kind of counteract that. So, actually, you know what? He's actually not going to get that even on the assist side. Choices. The main reason he's here is because he does put up a barrier. But all things considered, I actually might swap her out. Downside is then Finn does fire resistance down 25%, and she would lose the fire resistance buff. Honestly, I think Elise just drew the short straw here. Yeah. I think this Elise, unfortunately, just drew the short straw. Bet is max limit broken. I think he's more important to have this buff on. Choices. Belle needs a physical buff. Let's see. She needs self-strength buff skill with ultra run guard rate. She needs it too. Yep. So it looks like the fire, this Elise really drew the short straw here. So let's do this. Done by party. She's not going to get as much damage out, but she's not really supported as well. So I really kind of feel like that is our choice. That means that fire resistance down 25%. She'll come in and she'll do the single target buff. Let's see. I think she's a physical resist still. You know what? We'll do that. I think actually that's the right thing to do. She's going to lose a little bit, but she's actually still going to get the strength and dex buff from here. She's not going to get fire attack damage buff, which stinks, but choices have to be made. So I think this is going to be a better arrangement. She's kind of out in the cold. She's lacking some buffs. From a Memoria standpoint, I also haven't included magic buff here. But I think she's still going to do all right. So all party strength plus 6% turns 8 to 15. All party fire attack damage 6% turns 6 to 10. And SA gauge charge gaining on turn 6. So I hate to say it, I think that's going to be our turn order. I don't see another way. I just unfortunately do not. So everybody's going to come out of the gate with their skill 1. That's the important factor here. Okay? Everybody opens up with skill 1. Now, remember, Haruhime is going to put up a big barrier here, but so will Elise. So I think even though Elise is +3, I think she's big enough. I think she's beefy enough. I think she's got enough resistance, and she's got that barrier. I think she's going to do fine, I hope. The main reason I had Bet on the back end is because Bet also has a barrier, but I need Bet to do more damage than just survive. So I think Elise will be fine there. So turn 2, we'll just do our skill 2s, and which is funny because this unit has to do the skill 2 as well. That is going to be a magic resistance debuff, and we need to keep an eye on our opponent's debuffs. It's very, very important because they will get wiped out. So now we have agility and dex, fire attack damage and physical attack damage down, and we will have to replace a lot of those. Okay? The downside is she will lose the magic resistance debuff, so really, unfortunately, Elise is just not well supported on this team, but I think she's still going to do okay. We're going to have to see what happens when we get to her SA. So, turn 3, debuffs are still in play. We got now agility, dex, fire, strength magic, magic resistance, and physical resistance, and I think all that's very important. So, we're going to go ahead and do single target attacks here. Big single target attacks. Now, Elise will start buffing here. She's going to do a fire resistance buff, but it looks like we already have that in play. Belle can do a status buff for 3 turns, and a heal. I don't think it's necessary yet. I'm going to do his single target, which is actually his skill 2. And then, because that's also going to increase the counter rate and dex rate for Elise. And we'll probably do his skill 3 for his heal next turn. Or, well, we'll see. We'll see how hard she hits. Now, normally in these longer events, I do keep Haruhime on the team to see what happens. But mostly for the heals and stuff like that. But with as much as this team heals, I don't think we need it. I honestly just doubt that we need it in general. All right. So here we are. Carmine action needs to be rebuffed. So we're going to need to do that. Bet is, he's got 2 turns left on Flaming Crest, so he can do his skill 3. Elise is going to come in with her skill 2. And I think Belle needs to rebuff. No, he's got 2 turns left on Argo Will. So we'll go ahead and do his skill 3. That'll do a healing and a buff regen. Let's go. All right. Now, we have to beat this, I believe, 9 turns is for the S clear. I don't know if this team will pull that out, but we're going to try. My goal is to go for the quad SA. So let's continue on here. Next turn, we're going to get a big, so this is turn 5. Next turn, we're going to get a big buff skill. I'm going to go ahead and do, let's see, that'll be HP heal. Do we need buff replication? We do not really need buff replication. So I'm going to go ahead and do skill 3 with Elise, the physical Elise. Bet's going to go in here and rebuff. Belle's going to rebuff. And the magic Elise is going to go do her single target skill. She needs to rebuff in 3 turns, so she'll be good. Okay? So we're getting a lot of early damage out. A lot of early damage. There actually is with the fire release. There is an argument for maybe doing a triple, and because she's obviously going to buff the other skills. So maybe when she drops in, doing an essay might actually be more in our benefit. Might make this a little bit faster. I just happened to realize that. I don't know. I'm going to keep going here. We're going to do single target with everybody this turn. Okay. Actually, no. Look, debuffs. Debuffs are starting to run out. So, we got fire resistance, 1 unit, and physical resistance with agility and dex. Magic resistance is gone, and that's a big one, but magic resistance isn't going to get replaced. So, let's see. Null magic attack times 2, blah, 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 blah. So, nope. She's going to stay with her single target. She's got... Next turn, she'd have to rebuff. Bet is got 4 turns left, so we're going to go do his single target. Let's see. She's got 2 turns left, so we'll do her big single target. Bell just rebuffed, so he should have quite a few. He should have 4 turns left. So we'll do his single target. And none of our actions look like they're running out. The only thing, we don't have debuff replication on here, so we are just going to have to replace those here shortly. But I think so far we're doing pretty good. Now, the Magic Elise did take a good bit of damage here early on, but since we're about to do essays and all that stuff, I think we're fine. We've got healing skills. She's got a barrier. I think she's okay. All right. So one more time, just to double check, we need to rebuff Carmine Wear. That'll be good because that'll rebuff the physical resistance skill, which is going down here shortly. Well, does it do physical resistance? Okay, no, it's a physical resist buff to our opponent, or to our allies, with an AOE damage debuff. Bet is going to be good for 3 more turns. We don't really need that, so we do a single target. Magic Elise needs to rebuff hers, so we'll do that. That'll do fire resistance down 40%. We'll basically rebuff that, so we're good there. Bell is not going to need his either, so he is good for a while to just do single target attacks. Now, buff-wise, looks like everything is good. We're not really running out of anything, so we should be fine. Let's continue on. Do we have enough in this team to do a quad next turn? Has somebody not attacked? We do not have a quad. We're so close, though. That's okay. That's okay. We'll continue on. So, everybody's good for their single target attacks. The debuffs have been removed, so we need to essentially re-debuff on this turn. So, she is going to do, let's see, 30% HP heal with status buff plus 2 turns. That's not really important. Her single target will reintroduce the single target debuff. Bet, let's see, he's 2 turns on Flaming Crest, but I believe, let's see, Flaming Crest introduces the fire resistance debuff. Doesn't hers as well, though? So ammo resistance, strength, fire resistance down 40%. She's good on that, but I think Bet doing his single target would be better because he's just buffed better. So she'll do her single target, or she'll do her buff there again. Flaming Crest, really that's the only debuff in his situation. Let's see. Remove strength, magic, critical rate, penetration rate, fire attack damage, stun resist, taunt resist. Nah. Let's see, critical rate, and those are the ones that really matter. Nope, they're all good, so he will do single target attack. She'll actually do this to get the fire resistance off, and then Bell, physical resistance, which I think is getting put back on with Elise. Nope, single target. So Bell will do skill 1 for the physical resistance. So that'll set up the next turn. So it's actually not super important that we had everything squared away for this turn anyway, because we need those debuffs for next turn. So there we go. Which actually means I could probably change my Memoria a little bit and take off the SA charging Memoria and put back on the Magic Memoria. Let's see how much damage we get on this turn, though. Quad SA. Everybody's going wild. Let's see what happens here. So, first things first, physical Elise. 4.5 mil, not bad. The anniversary bet, 4.3 mil, not bad. Magic Elise got 1.7. Yeah, she could definitely use for a little bit more. And Belle, 6 mil. 6 million damage. That is nuts. I did not think Belle was going to be our DPS, but here you go. So there maybe is an argument to using Magic Elise earlier to get the buff skill and then doing a triple. I definitely see the argument there. Maybe just next time foregoing Magic Elise's essay would be better. And we probably would be... We would probably have this finished off pretty quick if we had done that. All right. So using her more as a utility. So everyone else is just going to do a big single target attack. Buffs and everything should be good for a bit. I think we've got this in the bag. There's also a distinct argument for maybe doing the a double essay with Elise and Bet earlier. I'm not 100% certain if that would really pull it out. But this should be easily the last turn. Let's go. Now, buffs will wear out after this. It's okay. I do not see her surviving this turn. No, she's gone. So it's turn 11 kill. Now, I do feel like with a little bit more turn manipulation, we probably could get this down to an S clear with this team. But, and I want to emphasize that Magic Elise was not well supported here. So if you have a physical unit you can throw in there instead or something like that, it might be better. I just don't have it at the moment, but I do see, even with this team, even with +3s on this team, I actually see a path to maybe getting an S clear. I'll probably come back and recover this and get the S clear, or see what we can do to make that happen. But I think it's well within range. So, like, comment, share. We're going to revisit this, and I'll be back with more 6 rings coming up shortly.